Today we're learning the bass riff from the iconic Van Morrison song Brown Eyed Girl, which is a lot more famous than his other song Pink Eyed Girl, albeit that one was much catchier. So this is really an excellent lesson in just kind of following chord tones through a scale. So basically, if you don't know, the chords are super simple. It goes G to C to G to D. So the first thing you want to do if you just want to play along the bass, the most rudimentary way you can do it is just play a G to a C to a G to a D. Okay, G being the 3rd fret on the E string, C being the 3rd fret on the A string, D being the 5th fret on the A string. So you can always just go back and forth and just track root notes along. But a cool thing to do on bass guitar specifically is work your way around those root notes through a scale. So this is in the key of G, so you use the notes from the G major scale, which would look like this. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Those are pretty much all the notes we need to play around. And this is really a great example in using those notes to bridge those chords together in a musical way where you kind of end up using everything in one position too. So again, the frets would just be 3-5, 2-3-5, 2-4-5. Okay? So again, remember we said we started on a G major chord. So we kind of just follow that G along. And then we end up on a C, the 3rd fret of the A string. So we start with this G, 3, 3, 3, major 3rd, this B note, which is in the key, the chord of G. And we're using it not only as a chord tone, but to connect to the next note, okay? I made another lesson you might want to check out. I'll link below called How to Make Walking Bass Lines, and this is really kind of like a great example of this in a very practical musical way. So we have a G, 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 B, C, C. Right here, same thing, C in its major 3rd, C, E, F, back to G again, right? Now this is an octave G. So one way that you can maybe kind of spice up a bass line, especially one that goes back and forth to the same chord. Remember, the chords in the song, like on a guitar, would be G to C to G to D. You can have that first G being the lower register, make your way to the C, and then all I'm doing is going through the scale and ending on the next highest G. So for the second G chord, we're playing the octave G. Okay, so again, we're just following these chords. G, G, walk to C major, major 3rd, walk through the scale, and really, again, this is just leading us into that G major chord. So we're using chords in the scale as leading tones into the next chord. And then again, remember, after that G, that second G, we end up on a D, the 5th fret of the A string. And one way to go about getting there is just walking through the scale from below to kind of come up into it and create that movement into the next chord. So there's a G, B, C, D. And then the next thing is we're going back from a G to a D. Ton of different ways that we can get there. This is going to be a chromatic walk, which again is talked about in the walking bassline video, where we're just going open 1, 2, 3. Now even though this note right here, the 1st fret on the E string, is an F, it isn't in the key of G, we can use it as a walk to the C, the octave G, D, chromatic walk to G. Okay, so there's a million different ways you can play it, but I think that's like a cool musical way to kind of work your way around a scale and hit all the target points. Whether you're coming from above them or below them in a scale, doesn't really matter. It kind of creates like a cool musical transition that I think sounds a little bit better than just G to C to G to D. Even if you use like a 1 and a 5 type thing, it'll still sound good. G to C, G, D. And you know, that's just a way to kind of very rudimentarily play along with a chord progression. I think in really kind of like a masterful, easy, playful bass way to do it. So thanks for checking it out. Also, I'm using this amazing Ernie Ball MusicMan Stingray, which is quickly becoming my favorite bass of all time. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.